My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is in the world, wherever you are tuning in from. Do let me know in the live chat where you're tuning in from and also what you're looking forward to most from this French Open draw. I can tell you right now what I'm excited about, which is basically the women's draw. And I think we should be in line because it's so open and so stacked in terms of contenders. I think the round one matchups just have to be. There's almost no combination that won't be exciting regarding round one matchups. On the men's side, however, maybe less so. The intriguing element to the men's side is who will be in the Jannik Sinner half. Will Novak Djokovic fall in that half, or will he be in the opposite half of the draw where Jannik Sinner will be absent? That is where every single player will be hoping to fall. Only one player is guaranteed to fall in the opposite half of the draw. And of course, that is number 2 seed, Alexander Zverev. There have been some concerns about Zverev's health in terms of his back. At the moment, he's still in the draw, and also any other absences. I think Polina Kudermetova on the women's side is absent. Of course, Carlos Alcaraz on the men's side is absent, as is Lorenzo Musetti, which makes the options and potential winners even fewer. I'm going to see if I can get the Roland Garros YouTube channel up. Roland Garros. There we go. Let's get you up right now. Roland Garros YouTube channel. No. Here we go. I want you live. French Open draw. French. Now it should be on the YouTube channel of Roland Garros. Okay, anyway, those are the things that I'm looking forward to. Do let me know in the live chat what you're looking forward to as I try and get this draw up and available. Come to the Roland Garros YouTube channel. Yes, okay. Okay, let's share some thoughts with you on the screen. Of course, Gael Monfils is going to be retiring at this French Open, so it'll be interesting to see where he lands in terms of his opening draw. Of course, we also have the retirement of Stan Wawrinka as well. He'll be bowing out at this tournament, or at least it'll be his last French Open. He's going to be playing the remainder of the year. Okay, I can see the YouTube channel is up and started. I just want to get it on my screen. Here we go. Okay. Draw ceremony live, Roland Garros 2026. Okay, great. I can see it now on my screen. And I can see Marc Maury ready to do the draw.
Plaisir de vous accueillir ici. I just wanted to wish a warm welcome to all other viewers all around the world. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We are among your viewers.
Who will meet who? Qui va rencontrer qui? C'est le but du jeu aujourd'hui. Et vous savez qu'il y a 128 joueuses, 128 joueurs, 2 vainqueurs. On sera le 6 et le 7 juin prochain.
Here we go. Hey, Connor, how are you? Hope you're well. Are you in Australia? If so, it's the middle of the night, or maybe you're in Europe somewhere. Maybe you're even at Roland Garros.
Ce que j'aime, moi, c'est l'émotion générée par le sport en général et par le tennis en particulier. Je vous propose justement de revoir de très très belles images de Roland Garros 2025. This was last year. Watch it.
We're going to have a look back on some of the highlights, I guess, of last year. Carlos Alcaraz, the men's defending champion, not in Paris this year to defend his title. Will also be skipping the grass court season due to his injury. I'm just seeing some Artefis highlights. Of course, we didn't see him really on the court and fully fit for a long time after the French Open. And we also had the ceremony, didn't we, for Rafa Nadal last year. For me, all the excitement is, I mean, so many round one matchups. You've got, if we think about the WTA rankings, right? Then, you know, there's so many unseeded floaters from, let me just have a quick look. I think none of the top 32 have withdrawn as yet through injury. There's doubts about Madison Keys, among others. Maybe even Amanda Anisimova, who's not played a lot of tennis in the last few months. But at the moment, as far as I'm aware, they are still in the draw. So Jacqueline Christian, the number 33 seed, is the big one to miss out in terms of being seeded. Maya Joint and Sara Balek also. Yes. Alex Eala there at 38, Raducanu 37. I think probably from the players we see on the screen, we're looking at Christian and Siniakova as maybe the most dangerous floaters just outside the top 32. Barbora Krejcikova as well, a former champion, will be obviously someone to avoid. Marketa Vondrousova is absent, a former finalist at the French Open. Laura Sigmund, yeah, could be a dangerous one. Depends on who the matchup is against. Maria Sakkari, I think, is still capable. Loa Boisson, last year's semi-finalist, of course. She's coming back from a lengthy spell out as well. Qinwen Zheng at 53. Can you imagine a Qinwen Zheng, Iga Swiatek round one? How about that? Anybody else? Zeynep Sommes, possibly, yeah. I think she could hurt some players. Of course, she pushed Leylah Fernandez big style in Stuttgart recently. And Kasatkina as well, probably as far down as 62 in the world, is certainly someone I think many. She won the WTA 125 recently in Catalonia.
Bienvenue à Roland-Garros pour cette nouvelle édition. Quand je regarde ces images, j'ai envie de vous dire deux mots. Le premier, c'est plaisir. Le deuxième, c'est émotion. C'est ce que nous recherchons au travers de nos événements. Donc, ravi d'être avec vous. Cette atmosphère que l'on aime.
French, not a language that I speak.
Pendant ces 3 semaines, je vais parler de 3 semaines et je vais...
If you're watching on Instagram, please do get in the comments and I will try and respond. Oh, I see Ben Rothenberg there in the audience. Amelie Mauresmo, of course, the tournament director, has come under quite a bit of heat in the past for having men's matches in the night session and not women's matches. We'll see if that trend is bucked this year.
On va être amené à réfléchir. Est-ce qu'on pousse les portes de notre stade? En tout cas, c'est un moment important et on a vécu cette semaine d'opposition avec des émotions. J'ai quelques pensées pour David Goffin.
David Goffin, of course, has bowed out already. He didn't make it through qualifying. So he has retired and said goodbye to the French Open for the last time. He lost to the Brit Samuel yesterday in qualies. Talking of French Open qualies, of course, there's going to be qualifiers that will be placed in this draw, but we don't know their identity. Just having a quick look at some of the qualifying. Of course, this is the final round of qualifying. I can see the Brit Samuel is up. Was actually up a break in the deciding set on the Peruvian Bueno. Jaime Faria, who's come through a couple of epics already. He's going to be playing the very dangerous Neumeier. Neumeier, a finalist, I remember, in Montemar Challenger a couple of years ago, or 18 months ago. Coleman Wong in the final round as well, going to be playing Prado. Diaz is already through. He's overcome Holmgren in 3 sets. So this is almost the gold at the end of the rainbow for a lot of these players. Pellegrino beating a former Cecchinato. Wasn't he a semi-finalist beating Novak Djokovic? So Cecchinato is not going to be in the main draw, but Pellegrino is a dangerous, dangerous opponent on the clay. Made the Estoril Challenger last year, playing some great tennis there. Of course, this will be a long, drawn-out ceremony, as they often are, as they see their figures and numbers maintaining quite high. And if you are watching us either on YouTube or Instagram, do get involved in the chat and let us know your thoughts. Who are you looking forward to seeing in the draw? Anyone else on the women's side? I go down as far as Daria Kasatkina. She won the 125 in Catalonia recently. Pano Edvardi as well. She's in action today, actually, in Rabat against Osorio, right? I think. Let me just see. how that match is panning out, or has panned out, or will pan out. Because there are tournaments, of course, happening right now across on the women's side in Strasbourg and Rabat. Jacqueline Christian is up a set on Daria Kasatkina, but Kasatkina is up a break. In fact, she's up a double break in the second set. So that could well be going 3. Rabat, we've got Marchenko in action right now against Buzas Monero. Buskova lost to Anne Lee in straight sets in Strasbourg earlier. And Udvari beat Osorio. Okay, so Udvari's in the semi-finals of Rabat. So yeah, potentially she's a dangerous one as well. Ranked 68 in the world, so not seeded, of course. Anybody else? Maybe Vekic, maybe. Yeah. Putin-Sava slipping down the rankings as well, although she has just climbed up 3 places. For me, it depends. Like Kasatkina, who could she hurt? She could hurt Coco Gauff, maybe. Let's have a look at the Kasatkina Coco Gauff head-to-head to just see what kind of scenario that could plan out to be. Look at this for a head-to-head. So just imagine Coco Gauff against Daria Kasatkina in round 1. 3-0 head-to-head. Have they played on clay? Yeah, they played on clay in Stuttgart in 2022. So they haven't played since 2022. That is something to bear in mind regarding this head-to-head. I do think Coco is an infinitely better player since 2022. 23 is obviously when she had that American tear-up. Of course, is the French Open defending champion. But still, probably someone that Coco will want to avoid in round 1. In fact, I think something many players... I do think Iga will be fine with a Kasatkina round 1, for example. Maybe Bondar is someone you'd want to avoid. But probably Qinwen Zheng is the main one. Like Iga against Qinwen Zheng. Maybe Maria Sakkari as well. As soon as the draw starts, by the way, they're just talking on stage at the moment, but as soon as something happens, I will let you know.
Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen, bienvenue pour ce tirage de Roland Garros 2026. Welcome to the 2026 Roland Garros edition. Les 2 tableaux de 5 seront composés de 128 joueuses et 128 joueurs. Both draws will be composed of 128 players.
Okay, so we've got more guff going on the stage right now.
Du côté des messieurs, Sébastien Corda s'est retiré cette semaine pendant les qualifications. Le tableau comportera donc 17 qualifiés. On the men's side, Sébastien Corda withdrew during the qualification. Men's draw will have 17 qualifiers.
17 qualifiers for the men's draw.
De la manière suivante, dans un premier temps, nous allons démarrer avec le tirage au sort du tableau simple dame. Les joueuses non tête de série et les joueurs non tête de série seront placés dans le tableau de façon électronique. Les 32 têtes de série seront placées de façon manuelle par paire de 2, puis par groupe de 4, puis par groupe de 8. Le tirage du tableau, messieurs, s'effectuera selon le même procédé. The non-seeded players, including qualifiers, will be drawn randomly, beginning at the top of
Clean-Oakley.
C1 and C2 will be placed respectively on line 1 and line 128. Remaining seeds will be drawn in groups from top to bottom.
China up a break on Galanu. This is all qualifying. Zheng beaten De Jong. Okay. The number 1 seed of qualifying, going out in straight sets at the final hurdle today. Tough loss that for August Hongwon as well. Let's have a look at the women's qualifying. Maya Sharif is very close and might be a dangerous one. She's a bit of a clay dog, is Maya. So actually, there's more qualifiers tomorrow, but I think that's just on the women's side. I think the final round of... Let's have a quick look to see if there's a men's qualifying tomorrow. Oh, there are men's qualifiers tomorrow as well, yeah. Okay, looks like we're getting some draw information right now. So a qualifier is going to be playing Jacquemont. Kazakina is going to be playing Zeynep Sonmez. Kazakina, Zeynep Sonmez, round 1, alert. That is borderline popcorn. Alex Eala's name has come out, but we don't know who she's going to be playing. Emma Navarro is going to be playing Janice Chen. That is a very winnable match for Janice, I would argue. Oh, Vekic also gets a winnable match against Tubello, the wild card. Any other round 1s I can confirm you? Simona Valtert is going to be playing Katarina Siniakova. Rusic is going to be getting a qualifier. Okay. So we don't know Alexandra Eala's opponent just yet, but so far, Kazakina Sonmez is probably the biggest sort of thing to tell you. Galfa's going to be getting a qualifier. Okay, qualifier against Cocciaretto as well. Gibson, Putin, Saver. These are all French Open round 1s, I can confirm. Qualifier for Qinwen Zheng. So Qinwen Zheng, the dangerous floater, is not going to be playing a big seed. Kalinina Paddy. Okay. Qualifier against Jean Jean. Soribes Tormo Korpach. Good to see Korpach in the draw. Kenin Stearns. Tom Yanovich. I always have problems spelling this one. McNally. Udvardi Golubic. That's a winnable match there for Pana. Valentova Linette. Arango's going to get a qualifier. Francesca Jones gets Haddad Meyer. Haddad Meyer's form is all over the show. Of course, a former French Open semi-finalist. Frech is going to get Rusa. Rakhimova Christian, okay. Shall we put this tweet out? Not yet. Raducanu Sierra, okay. Lise Marchenko. Blinkova. Startup Saver. All right. All right, let's get this tweet out, shall we? So, some French Open round 1s already confirmed. Hopefully you can see those on the screen right now. This is not all of the round 1s, but a large percentage of them that have been confirmed. Okay, it looks like we're going to get some of these more confirmed.
3 times world champion, 3 times Olympic champion, and also the president of the Automobile
Maybe time for a little sip of water for me.
2024. Tony, merci d'être avec nous. C'est un bonheur. Ça a été un succès public.
Yeah, Madison Keys, I can confirm, is still in the draw. Some injury concerns about Madison.
Et je voudrais savoir un petit peu ce que représente ce lieu dans cette dynamique du succès. Roland Garros ici. C'est sûr que quand on veut organiser le plus grand événement sportif planétaire en France.
Do remember to click that like button, by the way. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. We have hit the 30,000 subscriber mark this week. If you do hit subscribe, you'll see this number tick over. So if you're watching right now, click subscribe, watch this number and do a little dance, knowing that you have made a difference. Good to see some people watching on Instagram. If you've got any thoughts on the draw, do let me know. I will bring up some of these round one clashes for you as well that have been confirmed. Oh, Sebastian Korda is a last-minute withdrawal from the French Open, so a lucky loser is confirmed into the main draw. A lucky loser, of course, from qualifying. Sloane Stephens is a qualifier. She qualified today after a 3-set win over Romero. Okay, so we're going to get some seeded players highlighted in the draw right now. Okay, where's Sabalenka? Okay, as soon as I know Sabalenka's opponent, I will let you know. So Goff is getting Townsend, okay? Who is Swiatek getting? She gets Buzas Monero. Not bad, I would suggest. Goff Townsend, Swiatek, Buzas Monero. Svitolina gets Bondar. Okay, that's a tricky one. Getting the inform Hungarian. Mira Andreeva gets Ferro. Good draw that for Swiatek in the opening round. I think Svitolina's got a tricky one. Oh no, Sabalenka's got Buzas Monero. My bad. Sabalenka gets Buzas Monero. Noskova Sakkari. Bit of a popcorn, that one. Bencic gets a qualifier. Mukova gets Zakharova. Osaka Laura Siegmund. Alexandrova gets Osorio. Marta Kostyuk gets Selekmetova. Paulini Yastremska. Paulini, wretched form at the moment. I don't know who Iga Swiatek is playing yet. Goff is playing Townsend, Sabalenka, Buzas, Monero, Svitolina, Bondar, Mira Andreeva, Ferro. Still don't know who Alex Eala's first round opponent is. Jovic. Oh, Jovic Eala. Oh, good friends as well. That's an interesting one. I would just lean Jovic off the top of my head right now. Keynes is going to get Van der Winkel. Kalinskaya gets Boisson. Okay. At least Mertens is going to be playing Tatiana Maria. Leila Fernandez Parks. Okay. Samsonova Teichmann. Chastey is going to get a wild card in the first round. That's a nice draw for her. Efremova. I just want to know Swiatek's round one. Do we know yet Swiatek's round one? Because I haven't seen it. Buxer's going to get a qualifier. Okay, Swiatek's getting Emerson Jones. Emerson Jones. That's a very good draw for Iga. Where is Ostapenko? I think Ostapenko might be near Iga in the draw. I think. So, some more round ones for you here on the screen. Fernandez Parks is interesting. I'm going to have a little pause for a couple of minutes, okay? As they confirm the draw. Projected round of 16s here from Jose Morgado. Sabalenka Osaka. Swiatek Kostyuk. That's tough. That's tough for Igor. I don't know about her second and third rounds. But this is a projected round of 16 for some of these big players. I'd be surprised if Paulini gets that far, to be honest with you. So maybe it's not a bad draw for Rybakina. Mukova, Mira Andreeva. So, if I understand correctly, no, because Goff is the number 2 seed, right? Pagula and Bocco. Let's have a quick look as well at some more French Open draw news. There we go. Does she, Snehel? Okay, yeah, but what about Paulini's record in 2026? I just don't think she's getting that far. She's playing far from her best. But Tis Krejcikova is going to be fun. Snehel, chill, chill, chill. You should be happy. Tennis is here. French Open. Iga has a great chance. Oh, the power rankings of Nick will be out later today. So keep an eye out for that. We've already got the men's power rankings that Brenner and I did. Of course, we will have the men's draw very, very soon. Goff versus Potapova, round 3. And Iga against Ostapenko. Now I know why Snail is a bit grumpy. Swiatek, Ostapenko, potential round 3. Ooh. Now, does Ostapenko get there? That's always the issue. So Iga's run, I think, is Swiatek potentially in round... Swiatek in round... Swiatek, Ostapenko round 3, and then Kostyuk round 4. Janice Chen, Emma Navarro. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, we've got the men's draw coming out. Okay, Fernley, Juan Manuel Cerundolo is a round 1. Fernley, Juan Manuel Cerundolo. Landalusa gets a qualifier. Fucsovic, Berrettini. An experienced clash there. Quinn, Comisania. Shapovalov gets a qualifier. Hurkacz, Munar. Baez, all Argentinian affair with Burashaga. That might even be a 50-50, that one. Van Asch gets Kipson. Cilic, Kwame, okay, of France, the wild card, the youngster. Of course, Cilic, a former semi-finalist. Tabillo against Myshak. That's a bit of a popcorn. The Myshak's form has fallen off a bit. Okay, what else have we got? Gaston Monfils, all French affair, 2 wildcards. That is winnable for Monfils in what will be his last French Open. Popper in Spider. See, I told you these. We're struggling a bit more, aren't we, on the men's side for exciting matchups. Zachary Spider there up against Alexei Popperin. Kecmanovic, Marajan. Kecmanovic in good form. Hugo Garabelli's going to get a qualifier. Medjedovic, Hanfman. Sonego's going to get a qualifier. Lorenzo Sonego's missed a large amount of 2026 through injury. Prismic is going to get a qualifier. I think the qualifiers will be placed tomorrow. Shevchenko, Mikkelsen. Both will fancy their chances there of getting a win. Okay, let's get this post out there, shall we? Duckworth, Diallo, Kokinakis, Apmane. Gaston Monfils is going to be insane. Well, I don't know about insane, but someone else as well suggesting, come on, Snarehill. Rebecca's record against Paolini. Come on, Snarehill, wake up. Let's have a quick look at their head-to-head. What are you talking about, Snehill? It's 3 each. Snehill, what time is it in New Delhi right now? It's not that late, is it? Okay, time for me to have a little munch on my banana. Zverev gets Bonzi. Okay. Altmaier, Felix. I tell you what, Felix could be losing that. Djokovic gets GMP. Okay. Djokovic is winning that one on the clay. Sinner's getting Tabur, and then he gets Fernley or Juan Mamelo Sundalo. Oh, God. Medvedev, Walton. Oh, dear, men's tennis. You are not in a good place right now. Fritz Basavareddy. Just a sec, I've got my spelling right there. Basavareddy. It looks like I might have. How about that? Sinner Tabur. Tabur, the wild card. Oh, my goodness me. Who's tuning in for that? Kaboli gets a qualifier. Rublev Busa. Okay, now Rublev Busa. Oh, dearie me. That's a really tough one for Ruby. Lahetska gets Karenia Buska. Zverev Bonzi. Fritz Basavareddy. Oh, hi, Nick. You've missed Iga getting a round 3 matchup, potentially with Yelena Ostapenko, and round 4, Marta Kostyuk. From memory, her first 2 rounds, though, are not too bad. Casper Ruud's getting a qualifier. Paulini and Rybakina are a potential round of 16. Whether Paulini gets that far, I don't know. Hachanov is going to get Artur Geyer. So these are all round 1s, of course. But in terms of excitement, Nick, it's really all about the women's draw, especially in the early rounds. These are all in the opposite side. So Yannick Sinner in his half right now, to highlight. Ben Shelton is in his half. Bublik is in his half. Darderi is in his half. Tiafoe is in his half. Rinderknech is in his half. Felix is in his half. Medvedev is in his half. Kaboli. So this is all like, I've drawn the short straw. Lerner Tien, Medvedev, Vachereau, Norrie, Felix. They are all in the same half. Now, these are the people that are very happy not to be in his half. Casper Ruud and Novak Djokovic are not in the half of Yannick Sinner, but I do think that's a potential round of 16 if I've seen the screen correctly. Round of 16, I think, could be. I'm gonna gamble on this one because I think round of 16 between Djokovic and Ruud. All right. But for me, round 1 clash of the day on the men's side thus far is Rublev Busa. I'm gambling on this. I don't think it's a quarterfinal. I think it's a potential round of 16 between Djokovic and Ruud. Indeed. It's about as tough as it gets, really. I mean, yeah, it's about as tough as it gets, Snehel, because he couldn't play Yannick in the round of 16. Nor Zverev. Francisco Cerundolo gets Botic in the first round. Mensik gets Droge. Is that right? Artur Fils against Wawrinka. I've missed that one. We'll have a WTA Weekly on Saturday with Nick. Not confirmed yet, but I think we'll do ATP Weekly tomorrow. Oh, Liam Brody was in French Open qualifying this week. I'm assuming he lost because I haven't heard anything. Yeah, he lost in the first round, I think, to Cadanasso. Clay, though, clearly his weakest surface. Qinwen Zheng, I've already... It's not bad for Qinwen. So Alex Eala, by the way, is playing Jovic, and in the second round, we'll be playing Janice Chen or Emma Navarro. Let me just get to that Qinwen Zheng question. Borges has got a tough first round. I will say who it is in a moment. I just know it's a fairly highly ranked seed. But that's obviously a tough one for the seed as well. Qinwen Zheng. So she's got a qualifier in the first round. This is her projected draw. Mertens in the second round for Qinwen, potentially. Sakkari, Noskova third round, and then Anisimova or Lee in the fourth round. I think that's about as far as we can look for Qinwen at the moment, bearing in mind her absences from the tour. Really, Nick? I just think the draw is not great. Morning, Jake. How are you? I haven't seen your power rankings yet, Nick, all right? But I will be editing it later and posting it on the channel. It'll be out today. No doubt about that. Of course, that was made pre-draw, as it should be. That'll be up later. But I'll be honest with you, just off the top of my head and my feeling really throughout the clay court season, because no one has established themselves as like a clear favourite. And if anything, some of those closer to being favourites have maybe slipped a little bit. And I'm thinking of you, Sabalenka. I'm thinking of you, Rybakina. I'm thinking of you, Coco Gauff. That probably I would put Iga as my number one. Might sound bad, but I prefer Novak losing to Ruud in a fight rather than him reaching all the way finals, losing to Sinner, absolutely grilling his body and disturbing his Wimbledon chances. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Snail. All right, let's see if there's any other things that I've missed from this draw. Oh, Fonseca round 3. But I'm not sure if it's horrendous, Jose. I just think that the first... I mean, there's no guarantees that... Fonseca, of course, has pulled out of this week with a wrist injury, I think it was, in Hamburg. Who is the winner in the draw outside of Sinner? I mean, anyone not in... So I think... I was going to say Casper Ruud. But Ruud will be thinking, oh, God, Djokovic round 4. But if you're not in Yannick's half, that is the first thing to tick off. And neither Djokovic nor Ruud are in Yannick's half. So, yeah, that's the first thing. Now, both of those players will be going, yeah, but I've got to play you in the fourth round, possibly. Yeah, that's fine. Jose Morgado, honestly, yeah. If Novak is, I don't know who his second round opponent, presumably, though, he's not worth mentioning. So presumably the first 2 rounds are okay for Novak. So I actually think, listen, Jose, I'm sorry, I'm going to disagree with you. You have the first 3 things, if you're Novak Djokovic, that you're concerned about is, whose half am I in? Am I in Jannik Sinner's half? No. Whew, huge tick. Next tick. Who have I got in the first round? GMP. I can pick that apart on clay, no problem. Right. Who am I getting in the second round? Someone who's unnoteworthy. All right. That's great. Third round, João Fonseca. Okay, could be tricky, but is João getting there? Is João fit? So I think it's about as good as it could. Yes, you want someone easier in round of 16, but you can't have your cake and eat it, as I see Coco Gauff, the reigning champion, heading up on stage. So there's no guarantee João gets there. And João has never made, I don't think he's ever made a fourth round at a slam. So it's fine. And I'm not even sure who his quarterfinal would be against. I know it is hyperbole, yeah. No guarantees that Fonseca gets to round 3. No guarantees that Fonseca is healthy. And no guarantees for sure that he beats Novak. I just think, yeah, both Ruud and Djokovic will be like, okay, great, I've not got Yannick. Oh dear, I could be playing you in round 4. But both players will be like, I think I can win that. Novak, especially over 5 sets. You know, let's just say, I know he lost to Prismic in Rome, but imagine that was a 5-setter at the Slam. Yeah, only one match since Indian Wells. But if he gets going, and he'll have a couple of rounds to get going. So yeah. Fritz versus Hodar in round 3. That's if Fritz gets that far. I think unless I've made a mistake here, just Lucy Juice here going laughing her eggs off. What? Have I made a mistake? I think Sabalenka's playing Bouzas Monero. Did I get that wrong? Let me just check Sabalenka. I think she's playing Bouzas Monero. Yeah, she is. All right, here's the complete draw, thanks to Ben Rothenberg, who's got a picture of the women's draw. Shall we get into some of this now? So I've sort of shared my thoughts on some of the round ones already, Maya Joint, Potapova. So we've got Sabalenka. So we've got on one half of the draw. So who has fallen in Sabalenka's side? Have we got Gauff? Where's Gauff? That's what I want to see. So we've got Rybakina, of course, as the number 2 seed. Where's Iga Swiatek? Okay, I think Swiatek, Svitolina, Rybakina are in one half. I'm guessing, therefore, Coco Gauff is a potential semi-finalist for Aryna Sabalenka. Sabalenka's draw, Bouzas Monero, I think she wins that one. Then she could be playing Jacquemont. And maybe things get interesting in the third round. Kazatkina, Zeynep Sommes, which is one of the round ones to look out for, along with Osaka and Siegmund. They are potential round 3s for Aryna Sabalenka. So round 3 for Sabalenka could be Siegmund, Osaka, Sonmez, or actually Sonmez, Kazatkina. Is that round 2 maybe for? No, round 3. Round 3. All right. Gauff, her draw, Townsend, followed by Galfi or a qualifier. Galfi, she'll find it tough against Coco, but she'll try and blast her off the court. But very few players, including Aryna Sabalenka in world tennis, can do it on the clay at Roland Garros. Rybakina's draw, second round will be Blinkova or Startseva. Iga Swiatek, I was keen to know what her potential second round would be. So she's got Emerson Jones in the first round, followed by Baileck or a qualifier. So the first 2 rounds are okay. Now, will Ostapenko get there? I think so. Round 3. She's got Seidel in the first round, followed by Valentova or Linette in the second round. If Lynette was to get to the third round, of course, and set up an all-Polish clash, it will be against someone who she played just a few months ago in Miami, beating Iga Swiatek. Yeah, the Djokovic... the Djokovic draw is fine. It's just Casper Ruud round 4. Everything else is just you just couldn't get it much better. Djokovic's draw is totally fine. Yeah, you got... If you have 5 objectives, what do you want? Number 1 and beyond anything, more important than anything, is you don't get Jannik Sinner in the semis. Tick. All right? Anything else is a bonus. Oh, my round 1 and 2 are very winnable. Great. What a huge bonus that is. My round 3 could be João Fonseca, but João has never been deep at a slam before and is not in the best of form and is carrying an injury and might not get round to round 3 anyway. Oh, wow. Thanks very much. Who's my quarterfinal, projected quarterfinal in terms of seed? Alex Dim. Oh, my goodness me. Anything else is fine. You got Casper Ruud potentially around 4. All right. Tricky, granted. I fancy my chances, but tricky. But you've given me so much else. I'm going to have my cake and eat it. The idea that Novak's draw is tough is anything but. Now, shall we have a look at Jannik Sinner's projected draw? Not that it really matters. I saw his first 2 rounds and I was like, oh, give me a qualifier for Jannik in the first round. Give me Casper Ruud for Jannik in the 3rd or 4th round. But no. Okay, here we go. Men's draw. Sinner against Tabur, followed by Fernley or Cerundolo, followed by Landalusa, Kopshiva, Rinderknech. Yuck. I guess Mute, maybe. But I've seen Mute against Sinner before. It ain't as much fun as we think. Shelton is the quarter, though, I think, if I've got that right. So Shelton Sinner is a projected quarterfinals. Let's get this. Let's respond to this. You can see what I'm typing. This is what I'd be saying to if I was talking. Now, can we get an emoji for a tick? Let's do that, shall we? Who's he got in? Let me just have a quick look at Djokovic's potential round 2. Just want to see Djokovic's potential round 2. Okay, let's have a quick look. Sinner versus Tabur round 1. Yeah, but who's his round 2? Sorry, guys, just trying to see Djokovic's path. Don't know. Let's see if we can get the French Open draw. Because somebody in the live chat tell me who his potential round 2 is. I like this tweet. This is funny. Look at this one. So who's his round 2, by the way? Royer or qualifier? Oh, my goodness. So that's Djokovic against Royer or... Yeah. Sorry, Jose. I love you, man, but you're just way off on this one. So Djokovic draws anything but horrendous. Objective number 1, and by far the most important, avoid Sinner's half. Objective number 2, give me winnable matches in round 1 and 2. Objective... Yeah, let's get this out there. I'm not even going to respond to the Fonseca bit. Exactly. This is more like it, Jamie. I'm with you on this regarding the... sure, if it was on grass, you'd be worried about a few tie breaks, wouldn't you? But yeah. All right. Shall we go back maybe to the women's? A perfect quarterfinal. De Minaur. Djokovic will be on the piss the night before that match. Yeah. Yeah. No, Ruud's head-to-head isn't great with Djokovic. Not at all. Let's have a quick look. Djokovic head-to-head. This is the reason we're looking at this head-to-head, people. If you're not sure, it's because this is... including a French Open final, right? Which was straight sets for Novak. Now, I do think Novak is not quite at that level of 2023, that's for sure. And Casper might be just a little bit better in terms of his experience. Casper won their last meeting, of course, which came in the Monte Carlo semi-final. Yeah. Okay. Just responding to Brenner there. Yeah, he's way off. I love Jose. He's a really good guy. And loves his tennis. But probably when it comes to analysis, everyone has their weak spots. I certainly have mine. But yeah, well, I understand that. But actually, if you're Gael Monfils and you want to see him have a run, maybe Gaston first round is about as good as it gets. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Jose just knows that GMP has a huge serve. And he's going, oh, okay. But he's not thinking about conditions or anything like that. Of course, tennis is about opinions. Great, yeah. But I just think you've also got to get it right sometimes, haven't you? Prismic in which round is that? Round 3, is it? John Novak can face Prismic as well in round 3. I can't quite see your comment there. Is that round 3? Yeah, round 3. Yeah, that is tough. I'll say that. But I do, as I said in Rome, that's if Prismic gets there. So is Prismic potentially playing Fonseca? Yeah, exactly. I think he probably doesn't beat Prismic, indeed. And as I said, that match in Rome over 5 sets, I think Novak wins that one way or another. You know, he wins the first set. How does Prismic feel playing Novak at the French Open compared to Rome? Different kettle of fish, right? But yeah, that's tricky. I agree. But like I say, if you said to me, John, you can have one of 2 things, or Novak, you can have one of 2 things. You can be in Sinner's half, or you might get Prismic or Fonseca in round 3. Prismic, Fonseca, round 3, please. Thank you. I'll sign. Where do I sign? Where do I sign the check? So yeah, simple as that. Hopefully Brenner's going to join us. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. 8 minutes, Brenna's going to be with me. We're going to do some previews. And I'd like to get his take as well on the draw. So we're going to stay live for another good half an hour. Coco in the house. There we go. That's what you're good at, Jose. Delivering us key information like this. This is what you're good at. Brilliant. Raul Gunnar, you cannot be serious. Fonseca or Prismic, third round. Raul Gunnar, by the way, also has a picture of Novak Djokovic in his bio. Tell Brenny you love him. Well, you can tell him yourself if you're going to be here in 8 minutes. If you're worried about playing Prismic or Fonseca in round 3, then you clearly don't think Novak has a chance of winning the French Open. And you might be right. You might be right on that. But the same people that are saying he's got, oh my goodness me, he's going to be playing Prismic or Fonseca in round 3 are the same people that think he should be ranked number 2 in the power rankings. It's one or the other. I've got him at, I think I had Djokovic at 3 in my power rankings. Yeah, I think both Brenner and I had him at 3. But if you're saying to me, oh my goodness, Prismic in round 3, well, then you need to be probably putting Novak a bit lower in your power rankings. I'm not sure about that. I think Sinner, of course. But for me, there's a lot of potential finalists. Ruud is a potential finalist. Zverev is a potential finalist. Djokovic is a potential finalist. I guess they're the first 3 off the first 3 taxis off the rank. Yeah. I think Shelton, in terms of him being a potential quarterfinalist, for Sinner, if he could just get to that quarterfinal, I think that would be a huge tick for him. Just having a quick look at some of the British draw here. Fergus, keen to highlight Raducanu against Solana Sierra, Katie Bolter against Akasha, Hobo Van Jones against Haddad Meyer, Cam Norrie's going to be playing Vallejo, Fernley against Juan Manuel Cerundolo, and Toby Samuel to be decided. So Toby Samuel's qualified. All very winnable. Not sure. I mean, I guess they're all winnable, but do they win? Not sure. You know, I don't think we'd be getting 4 British winners there. I think we'd probably get 1 or 2. I don't think Raducanu she might beat Sierra, but she's certainly not the favourite. It's a nice draw for Bolter and Jones in a way. And I'm not sure that Fernley or Norrie are winning their first rounds either. Not sure. A couple of clay dogs there. Exactly. That's it. If you are anyone who is serious about winning the French Open, or even just anyone who's serious about making the final, then it's just like, just put me in another half to Novak and I'll take whatever else comes. John, it doesn't help to not have Sinner in his half for Novak. Even if Sinner was in his half, he had to beat Sinner in the semifinals, and now it's the finals anyway. I know, but you're avoiding. That's a huge getting. And by the way, if you're worried about playing Fonseca or Prismic in round 3, then he ain't making the semis. If that's where you're at, but I wouldn't be. That's the first thing. You just want to avoid Sinner's half. And it is a huge difference. Because if your chances of meeting Sinner, what are the chances of meeting Sinner in the semis and what are the chances of meeting in the final? They're obviously more significantly higher in the semis. I think Sinner's making the final, but it's another match. And who knows? Maybe he goes 5 in that semi-final, Yannick, and you play a beaten up Yannick in the final. It's a huge win, and that's the only thing you can ask for. In football, in the FA Cup, you just ask for a home draw. Of course, it's nice to be playing Bolton rather than Liverpool, but you just ask for a home draw, and then you take what you can. And the home draw is just being a different half to Yannick Sinner. As I say, they're the objectives. Yes, I'm sure Rude in round 4 is anything but ideal. Who else could he have played in round 4, by the way? I mean, Rude is definitely the most tricky, but who else could it have been? And the 5-1 head-to-head should give you some confidence. Thomas Farrell, by the way, has qualified, number 382 seed. And then look at this. Look at this. This should be music to your ears. Djokovic versus De Minaur. Mind you, Djokovic, Medvedev, Djokovic, Fritz, Djokovic, Shelton. Not exactly quaking in your boots. I guess Medvedev has shown a bit of clay form recently, and he can beat Novak. But I think you choose Fritz or De Minaur, right? I understand it, Snehal. I understand it totally. But you're looking at it from a fan's perspective rather than an objective perspective. And that's totally fine. I mean, when you're a fan, you always see the pitfalls. Or not always, you often see the pitfalls, right? But Sinner, we know, is vulnerable. In terms of fragile, in terms of his body, in terms of physically. You push Sinner to 4 or 5 sets, and it's the best chance you probably have of beating Yannick. And it's going to be the French Open, right? More than Wimbledon in terms of the speed of the matches. So, yeah. Yeah, of course they will. Of course they will. Oh, let's have a quick look at our subscriber count, shall we? Come on, people. We need you to hit subscribe. If you're watching right now and you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe and watch this number tick over. True, true. But there are players who can get the first set, for example. You can get a set off him. And then who knows? But I agree. I think Sinner's making the final. And talking of easy draws, Mike, I mean, there aren't many difficult draws for Yannick, I know. But just give me something random for Yannick in the first round. Yeah? Give me a qualifier, for example, in the first round. Don't give me Tabur. Don't give me... give me Tabur. In the second round, give me Bellucci. Give me Altmaier. Give me Kopshiva. Give me Busa. Give me Kecmanovic, maybe. Yeah, in the second round. Give me Tabilo, please. Give me something. Don't give me Fernley or Juan Manuel Solundo. Don't give me Juan Manuel. Don't give me that. Don't get. Oh, round 3. Give me a tough. Give me a tough seeded player. Give me a tough seeded player for Yannick in round 3. Give me Jakub Mensik. Yeah, give me Jakub Mensik in round 3, can you? Maybe Vachereau, maybe Casper Ruud. Don't give me Landalusa or Mute. Don't give me. Oh, you're kidding. Yeah. Oh dear, men's tennis, eh? Gotta laugh or cry, I guess. Yeah, indeed. I agree with that, Zhao. Well, where are you, Brenner? You said you'd be here in 8 minutes. Let me just have a quick look. Okay. Great. Great. Brenner on his way. We're going to have a look at some of the... Shall we get the draws up on the screen? That might be a good thing. Oh, we just gained we just lost a subscriber. We gained one and then we lost one. Maybe it's Snehil. Snehil's in a bad mood. I mean, it's just not that bad. It's just not that bad. I'm not sure Zverev is getting to the semis. By the way, I don't think de Minaur's making the quarters. What is Casper Ruud's route? What is Casper Ruud's route? Because I'd be interested to know who he's playing in those first 3 rounds. Yeah, don't know, but I'm going to try and get the draw up for you on the screen, especially in time for Brenner's arrival, as we sort of go into things in a bit more detail. Okay. So this is the quarter for Sinner and Shelton. Can you see this on the screen? I hope you can. Then we've got Felix and Medvedev's quarter here. So here's Casper Ruud. Just getting this right. So Ruud is going to be playing a qualifier in the first round. You don't want to play a qualifier in the first round. Give me a wild card. Give me a safe seed. Yeah, give me a player who's, you know, perhaps ranked about 50 in the world, but doesn't like playing on clay. Don't give me a qualifier. That's what I don't. Oh, give me a qualifier. Okay. Then you could have Medvedev or Hanfman in the second round. I think Casper wins that. But, and I think I heard Brenner join. I'm just looking at my screen right now. I'm just looking at Casper Ruud's route, Brenner.
Yep.
To a potential quarterfinal. So there's a lot of people. Well, not a lot. There's a few takes on Djokovic's path being tough. I disagree, because I think if you're Novak Djokovic, your first objective is please don't give me Jannik Sinner in my half. That objective was achieved.
Yep.
Give me a nice quarterfinal. Alex de Minaur. Thank you. That's fine as well. Next objective is give me winnable matches in round 1 and 2. And he's got GMP, and I think he beats GMP in slow clay conditions, especially over 5 sets. He'll be able to return the serve, no problem. And then he's got Royero qualifying the second round. Now, I know rounds 3 and 4 is where the Djokovic fans are panicking. And I understand that panic, especially if it's Dino Prismic in round 3, followed by Casper Ruud in round 4. But I just think if you're Novak Djokovic, that is like 4th or 5th on your objectives. My first objective is don't give me Jannik Sinner in my half, please. Thank you very much. Anything else is a bonus. Oh, I've got GMP in round 1 and I've got a qualifier or Royer in round 2. Thanks very much. Who's in my quarter? Alex de Minaur is your projected seed, albeit I don't think de Minaur's getting there. All right. And then who am I getting in rounds 3 or 4? Oh, Prismic or Ruud. Okay. But that's sort of 4th on my list of concerns.
Yeah. And like I said, like, I think Djokovic is someone who can play himself into form and come that 3rd round. Obviously, Casper is big, but
I think Ruud is getting there. But
yep.
If you're Casper, I was just saying, just as you were in the hovering in the wings. If you're Casper, if I look at the ATP rankings, I just think, you know, I'd rather have in the first round. Give me who do I want in the first round? I don't want a qualifier, really, although that is what he's going to get, a qualifier or like a loser. Give me maybe Manarino in the first round, albeit a Frenchman at home. I'm just looking at players that are like ranked in the top 100, but aren't going to do anything on clay.
Yep.
Give me Popperin in the first round, for example. Yeah, there's a few players that it could have been, whereas qualifiers, they've played 3 matches already. Now, I still think he comes through, whoever that qualifier is. But maybe there's someone who's torn it up in qualifying and you got, okay, 3 matches already, and maybe you lose the first set. But I still think Casper's draw's okay. I'm just saying that I think that's it. All right, listen, I want to just get into a little bit of the nitty gritty of some of these first rounds. How long have you got, Brenner?
Half an hour.
Oh, great. Half an hour is perfect. So we'll be live, people, for about another half an hour as Brenner and I pick out maybe 5 round ones. Let's go back to the women's draw, which I'm going to find. I've got about 1,000 windows open right now. We're just going to look at round ones. I've done all the projections and all the possibles. By the way, I was just doing this like little joke, right, with Yannick, okay? So this is his projected draw. And I'm like, for Yannick, just give me a tough qualifier in the first round. Yeah, give me a tough qualifier because I want an interesting tournament. Give me a random qualifier. I don't know who it is. Just don't give me I don't know, Tabur. Who we got? Oh, Tabur. All right. So round 2, give me someone who's ranked like 30 or 40 in the world, or 40 or 50 in the world, who's a bit of a clay dog and might pull out a few boxer chicks. Give me tricks. Give me Myshak, give me Marojan, give me Prismic in round 2. Give me Kopshiva, give me who else? Give me Ketsmanovic, maybe Navoni, Mahac. Give me someone like this. Don't give me Fernley or Juan Manuel Ceruna. Don't give me that. Oh, okay. Here we go. All right, round 3. Give me Casper Ruud in round 3. A seed, although maybe Casper being top 16 actually might not be possible in round 3. But give me okay, here we go. Give me Francisco Cerundolo in round 3. Give me Artefis in round 3. Give me Vachereau in round 3. Actually, I think Casper Ruud could have been in round 3 as well. Give me one of those. Don't give me Mute or Lando. Oh,
no.
Okay.
No.
Right.
It almost gets worse.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get the men's draw up anyway. There was actually only one that really got me in round 1, and it was sorry on the men's side. Sorry, I know so we're going to win, but let's do the men actually because it's on my screen right now. I think there's only one, but I can see another one actually. But the one that really stood out for me was Rublev against Busa. I really liked that round 1 draw because of where Busa's form is at, and of course I was bigging up Rublev in our pre sort of tournament show or pre-draw show. Rublev is just getting away from Ruud. This is Rublev's little section here that I'm showing on the screen. So if he does come through Busa, it'll be a qualifier or Hugo Carabelli, and I would argue that probably be easier than his first round. And he's got a potential 4th round with Demonor, so it might get a bit better for Rublev. But Busa, Rublev, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, well, it's interesting now because Busa just took down Humbert, which means he will play another match. Just thinking about the legs situation. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is someone you don't want to play. On the flip side, you're going to have a day or 2 of rest. I don't know which side of the draw is going to play first, but the guy is coming in with a lot of confidence. Been a natural clay quarter, working his way up the rankings. I think he's finding comfort. On the flip side, you have Rublev, who had a good clay season, like we said. Good bulk of work, made the final in Barca. So I think he's going to be content coming out here. But there's one thing that Rublev did say, I think it was right before Rome, where he talked about the courts at Roland Garros. They're just like much different. I think like we've seen it throughout this clay season, just how drastically different each clay surface is. And he talked about this, the Roland Garros surface just being, one of its own. And I think Rublev might take a little bit more advantage to getting more reps on that surface in terms of like having a practice week on it. Also curious kind of what court. I feel like this is definitely a side court type of match. So definitely going to be an interesting sort of crowd around it as well. And I'm sure there will be some Busa fans.
Yeah. So I think Rublev is coming through. I think you're right that it is a tiny, tiny advantage to be at the French Open already. But as we spoke about on the show, maybe you want to be like Casper Ruud, for example, and get some competitive matches, and he keeps winning. Of course, there is another thing with that draw scenario. The final of Hamburg is on Saturday.
Yep.
Even if the Busa half of the draw, we've got a Yannick Sinner half, and now we've got a Busa half. Even if the Busa half, which is the bottom half, I think, is on day one, which it could be despite being the bottom half. It could also be on day two as well. You'll have, I think, because you've got that spread over 3 days.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
you'll
then
have-
they would schedule him
Well, I'm
regardless.
pretty
He
sure
would
they
be
schedule him for Monday.
yeah.
If they put that half
But
on, of course.
yeah, but still, I mean, that's
It's you want to play Tuesday if
5
you're
matches
in the
within
final, for example. Of course, he could lose tomorrow,
week.
but yeah. All right. Are we both going though, Rublev, one way
Yeah.
or another?
Yeah, just a little edge, but I think the first few sets could be a little bit, back and forth.
All right, I've got another men's match which I thought was interesting. Stefanos Tsitsipas against Alexander Mula. The head-to-head is favourable for Stefanos, but it's not an easy round one, especially a Frenchman at home. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Very interesting because, maybe a year ago I'd be kind of having different thoughts going into this match where Alex Mueller was able to kind of prove himself on tour for a few months there and
He was
obviously
playing
had a
well.
good run in Rio.
Yeah.
And what sticks out to me is like the backhand. He holds up really well on the backhand wing.
Yeah.
And he moves really cleanly, but this year it's been a different story. Honestly, like sad to see, sad to watch because of that promise he showed last year. But he did talk about, health issues this year, and that might be the case. That's really hampered him. But on the flip side, home crowd, biggest tournament, probably means the most to him. So we'll see if that brings anything out of him. But for Stefanos, you have to just kind of put the blinders on and understand that anyone you come against is going to smell a hint of opportunity, and have to kind of channel that and just be the best version of yourself and try and block out the outside noise. Obviously, someone who's had success on the surface. And once again, I think it's hard to I think Stefanos' talent and ability gets a little bit masked with this kind of social media presence and obviously the media's talking points as he goes down the rankings. But the guy's still a great player. He's with the family. I think, he's getting better in terms of the head, but right, it's that backhand wing is obviously what we're going to be focused on. But I think he can right the ship here, and this is a good draw given his ranking.
Yes. Funny enough, these two players, as you say, a year ago, actually, in a way, a year ago as well, Stefanos was in a better place because or at least, I'm stretching it a bit, but there was that Middle East revival from Stefanos, wasn't there? And that was still fairly recent in our memory. So you're thinking, even if things weren't great for him after that Middle East revival, you're still thinking French Open, clay, this is his moment. But you're right about the backhand exchange. Funny enough, before Muller played, I think Fonseca in the first round in Rio, and I think he won that match. I was talking to the guys at Tennis Insights, give me something on this. And they were like, it's the backhand. That's the best thing I can sort of, give you immediately. It's like, if you're rating the backhands and Fonseca's backhand is decent, but if you're rating the two backhands, actually, this is where Alexander can win out, if you like. And I think he can win out with a lot of players. And of course, if there's one area of Stefanos's game where you can also maybe win out, it is backhand to backhand. Although on clay, actually, what you kind of look for is you want to get your forehand into his backhand, if that makes sense. Assuming that you're a stronger player on the forehand side, as most players are, I'm thinking of Nadal, for example, and I'm thinking of the Nadal Berrettini as well as a combination. You run around forehand, inside out into Stefanos's backhand, and off you go. Backhand to backhand exchange is a huge dynamic, but maybe Stefanos can get away with it a bit more. In fact, he can definitely get away with it a bit more on clay. So I'm going to go for a Stefanos win. You too?
I am as well.
Okay. Are there any other round ones? Because maybe I shocked you a bit with my, and maybe there are other round ones that I just haven't noticed on the ATP side of excitement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at two right here that are just kind of classics. It's Echeverry Borges and Kecmanovic Marajan.
Let's go Echeverry Borges first of all, because I think you're quite big on Echeverry ahead of this.
You're right. I am. And that terrible or unfortunate loss that he had to Tommy Paul across 2 days, where he blew 6 match points. I don't know if that's good or bad going into.
Do you know what? If you're going to have that kind of loss, give me a Grand Slam next.
100%. Yeah.
You know,
You're
don't
right.
give me a 1-2-5 and I'm in a third set dogfight with someone or a challenger or
Yeah.
even a 250 and I'm in a dogfight with someone I don't want to be in a dogfight with. Maybe Nuno Borges.
Right.
Although actually, you and I as well. I love Nuno, especially as a person. I've met him a couple of times and he's super nice. But actually, dogfights and Nuno is not great either. Nuno, you know, getting in a third set dogfight. I've seen him up a break and lose it. I've seen him sort of have match points and not win. And anyway, I digress. And look at the head-to-head, by the way. Nuno is 2-0.
Yeah, which like doesn't surprise me. Let's see. Where
Barcelona this year, he won. Oh, 2 matches both this year as well for Nuno.
in Auckland. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, this is kind of a
But
take
they're
it or leave it
close.
match.
They're
if you're-
super close. And 2-0, it's not like 4-0 or 8-0 or something like that. It's still a small sample size.
Yeah, it is, but it's kind of a maybe more meaningful if you're Echeverry, especially coming off that loss. But knowing that he's gotten you twice this year, and now you get to prove it on the big stage. So
I think I'm gonna go Echeverry in 4.
I am as well, and definitely won't be surprised if Borges nicks one. Both of them are willing to go the distance and probably just hang out at the baseline for half an hour, even if it's just one rally. So,
what was the other one? Marajan against
Kecmanovic. Very interesting.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
And I'll wait till you pull it up. And
I've got the head-to-head now. It's 1-0 in Marajan's favor. Yeah, let's get that up for you on the screen there.
So this one's interesting because
okay.
Kecmanovic came off that Valencia title. He was scheduled to play in Hamburg, ends up pulling out, which I thought he would.
Probably listened to our show a couple of days ago when we
Yeah.
I think was it or something, and I was like, I think he should pull out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more fitting. But Marajan, obviously a player that I am very high on, and I think he's had this kind of lull on the tour ever since he kind of broke out. And I think it's time for him to kind of make a move. And this clay season was, once again, I'd say underwhelming, but consistent, dare I? You know, you get a win pretty much everywhere, and that's obviously important. But once again, it's kind of he's got to prove to himself that he wants to have the kind of dogfight in him to hang in these battles, because come this season there's just so many difficult matchups. And you know, he got the worst of Koprova in Rome, and squeaks past Ethan Quinn, then gets a tough version of Medvedev in Madrid, and then, you know, probably a match he should win. Obviously he beat Stefanos in Munich, but then he comes up against Chapo, and Chapo is able to get the best of him. So it's just one of these things where you actually have to be there mentally just as much as you are on court. And I think he's a guy who has all these options and maybe just doesn't use them as effectively or consistently. It's a little bit spontaneous when these kind of weapons come out. And so for him, he's a player that has that high upside. And I think across 5 sets, like, I think that might be able to help him. But on the flip side, you have Kecmanovic, who's coming in here kind of solid as a rock, right? We know what he's capable, super high tennis IQ, and he's the type of guy who can extract a lot of errors from a Marajan type of player.
Yeah, he's actually quite a big personality off the court in terms of confidence and bravado, perhaps, and I mean that in a good way. Funnily enough, he's one of these guys that has that off the court, but doesn't always translate it to on the court. He's a bit more solid and less flamboyant, but he's still okay. He's not dull or super defensive. He's got a few weapons off the ground. And actually, over 5 sets, perhaps I like him more than I do Marajan. This could well go the distance, and I think if it does, I think I would lean Kecmanovic. Yeah,
just from that solid experience perspective.
Yeah, and just Marajan, there's sort of a life expectancy in terms of his tennis, and it's sometimes 2 sets. I mean, he obviously had the most memorable win was over Alcaraz. If that goes 3, you know, I think we see something different. If that's the best of 5, absolutely Alcaraz is winning that, even from probably 2 sets down. It's just, you know, he's such an aggressive player, such a fun player to watch. The drop shots in particular. Kecmanovic maybe not the quickest, but he's not mega deep on the court either. So, Yeah, it's something for Kecmanovic to be aware of and to keep an eye out for. But those drop shots, which are amazing for a set and a half, well, this is best of 5, my friend. And I think Mir gets the job done. But it's super close, and it's a good one to pick out, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm going through there. There's definitely some tussle-esque matches, as we kind of already discussed a few. Another one would be Mahach Bergs. You know, like those are two guys on a similar
1 minute
level.
on Mahach Bergs, because I don't want to get over to the women's side.
Okay, no, we don't need to. I was just
give me. Why are you excited about this one?
I wouldn't say I'm excited, but it's two players kind of on a more or less level playing field going into the major, and you know
they
it's
are,
a
but
competitive one. It's one where I don't really know, so that's why I think.
Yeah, I get it. They are, but they shouldn't be in a way, and that's with all due respect to Zizou. But I think Mahach.
Agreed.
He's obviously his problem is health. If he had a 12-month spell of being healthy, he's close to the top 10, Mahach, in my opinion, across 2, maybe even all 3 of the sort of principal surfaces and conditions. But certainly hard court and clay, which is good enough. Bergs is great. But his ceiling, I don't think, is as high as Mahach's. But the reason why it's a 50-50 is because of where we're at with Mahach's health and form, and where we're also at with Zizou's as well, which is pretty good right now, right?
100%.
So the thing is, I might, despite all of that, I might lean Zizou because, again, if it goes 4 or 5 sets, and it's certainly likely to go not be a straight sets win, well, then you're looking at every changeover to see where Mahach is at. Do you know what I mean? He sits down. Is he calling for the trainer? Is he coughing? Is he spluttering? And so it is. If Mahach is fine and he played a couple of tournaments and had some good runs, I would definitely go for Mahach. But maybe I'm leaning Zizou. What about you?
I agree. Just the fitness perspective, I have to lean Zizou as well.
It's honestly, it could be a straight sets win for Mahach. It really could.
Yeah.
But
we just don't know.
No, and with Mahach, you just never do. I remember even when he does, get there, I remember him lying in wait for Novak at a draw that I do think where Djokovic had a tough draw at the Australian Open of 2024.
100%, yeah.
And he just Djokovic brushed him aside. And I was like, oof.
Yeah, everyone is hyping that one up. I remember.
Yeah. All right, let's get over to the women's draw. The first one, of course, will not surprise anyone that we're going to talk about is Alex Eala against Iva Jovic. She's also Alex in the same section as Sabalenka. It's a couple of matches away though, so nothing for Alex to worry about initially, because next round, if Alex was to win, would be Navarro or Chen. I actually think there's been a couple of tournaments like this for Alex recently where she's just got some 50-50s. And in Rome, for example, she came on the right side of those 50-50s in her opening 2 rounds. She's got, maybe I'm being a bit optimistic for Alex, but if she gets Navarro or Chen in the second round on clay, that is a 50-50, because Chen and Navarro are nowhere near as menacing on the clay as they are on the grass or the hard courts. And that's the same for Alex, of course. But then that's something for you not to worry about in a way. In fact, she had the same thing in Rome when she played Wong. Wong would be desperate to have that on a hard court. Eala would go the same in a way. But because Alex has maybe made 1 or 2 little improvements on the clay, it's like, do you know what? Let's do this on clay. If you're Eala against Wong, maybe you're going, let's do this on clay. Because they did play on a hard court, of course, earlier this year in Auckland. Anyway, I digress. Jovic and Eala have never played each other before, but they are, of course, good friends off the court. Does that have any bearing in terms of their friendship off the court?
No.
Sometimes it does, but actually Alex seems to put that out of her mind. I've seen her play Zeynep Solmez, for example, close friends, but they're fine when they play each other. Same with Mboko as well, and I think they get on well. But I don't think it'll have too much of an effect, right?
No, it shouldn't. If anything's going to have an effect, it's going to be yesterday's result for Jovic, where she did go up against Navarro in Strasbourg, and it went 3 sets, or she forced a decider, and Navarro just came out and totally hit Jovic off the court. And in part with that, it was Jovic wasn't able to, I don't think she really had a clear game plan. And that was a surprising loss, to be honest. Maybe that's just because I haven't seen a lot of Navarro, and she just stepped onto the surface. So maybe a little bit of just you know, just unsure of kind of the result there. But that's something, if you're Eala, you're looking at and you're saying, okay, she's coming into this with maybe, not the best mindset, maybe from a tactical standpoint.
True, and of course it was in Strasbourg, as close to French Open conditions as you could probably get on the tour, at least the main tour. Regarding Eala, I mean, basically for her during the clay court season, and it might well always be the case, you win some, you lose some, and that's exactly how and that's fine compared to last year when she was losing 4 and winning 2 matches. This year, I think she's won 4 matches on the clay. She won 1 in Linz, and then she lost in the first round. So she won 1 in Linz. She won 1 in Madrid against Pavlyuchenkova. That was a nice draw. She won a couple. So I think she's won 4 matches. The loss she had in Strasbourg, yeah, that was a 50-50. Eala, I think, had her chances in set 2 in particular when she comes back from a double breakdown. And once she's back on serve in that second set, you think she's going to win this in straights, but ultimately goes down. Jovic, though, in terms of her form, as you highlight, she had an okay run in Rome. She beats Townsend and Kessler in straight sets. That's decent. And she pushed Goff, one of the favorites for the French Open.
Probably should have won. Yeah.
Yeah, and probably should have won. I think I heard, well, she was doing well, wasn't she? I didn't see the match, but she was doing well against Coco and pushing her, right?
Had a few match points, at least one.
Oh, really? In the second set?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know
Serve
that.
for it.
Wow. Okay. So really, it's this loss that she had in Strasbourg that's sort of setting her back a bit because she won 1 match and lost another. That's okay. I mean, Jovic and Clay, again, is probably
it's
not
early in the process.
Yeah, it's early in the process, much like it is for Alex as well.
But I will say that match for Alex, I think she can hold her head high. I mean, that's a tough clay quarter to go against.
Yeah. I just thought that was
Kova.
Yeah, it was still a 51-49 in Alex's favor pre-match.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you mean with Olenakova on the clay, but actually, Alex can often, she loves to do some of those moon balls and stuff like that. But actually, Alex is quite good at taking that on the rise.
Agreed.
And she can even perhaps step in on that a little bit in terms of also even just taking it out the air. That would be, I've seen that tactic. It's a fun tactic. When you get a moon ball and you got a player that confident, I think I've seen Ostapenko do this, actually take a drive volley. Take it on the drive volley. And if you get that first one right, that takes the wind out of the sails from your opponent who's thinking, oh my goodness, they're not afraid of my moon balls. But it also, and Eala actually did have some success, particularly in the first set, with taking the moon balls on the rise from her. And yeah, I just think that really she's got to win that second set. And actually, there was one other factor, which is also going to be important for Alex. She's young, but I still think there's an area of improvement in terms of her fitness. And she's going to be she's someone who already is because of her nature, but also because of her game. She's going to be in 3-set dogfights throughout her entire career. And she gets those back-to-back, and they eventually catch up on her. And we see her in rounds 3 or 4 or quarterfinals, or whatever, and the strapping appears. And again, Olenakova was blowing in the second set, but she goes off and takes a break at the end of the second set, understandably, and actually comes back a bit revitalized. Alex is actually the one who in the third set physically is going down. So that is something still. And I heard the commentator, I think it was John Horn on the commentary, was actually saying that she had made some steps forward in terms of fitness, and that may be the case. But I think there's another step forward to take. There's other areas of a game, and we know about those holes in the other game, the fitness, the serve and stuff. But again, that will always be a weakness. I actually think the fitness could, and it will probably come with age, actually. Actually, in tennis, your peak fitness actually gets better as you get through your 20s, rather than in other sports where actually 18, 19, you're ready to go. In tennis, we've seen it with Sinner and Rune, for example, on the men's side. Actually, they get a bit better as they get older. Djokovic too, as well, in particular, is probably the best example of that. Anyway, what are we going to do here? I'm probably leaning, despite that loss, I'm leaning Jovic.
I see it pretty close. I think a lot of people will lean Jovic. I'm liking the lefty matchup if you're Eala.
Right. Yeah, sometimes I forget about that with Alex. There's so many other things going on that I forget about that.
I know.
Yeah.
But it should be good. It should be a good one.
All right, women's draw elsewhere. Anything else off the top of your head, or do you want me to have a look
I'm scrolling.
I'm now looking for it right now. I've got oh, okay, here we go. I've got it on the screen as well, I think. I'm going to put it on the screen. Here it is. At least the top bit of the draw. The seeds are okay in round 1 from memory. I know Iga's draw gets very exciting from round 3 onwards, but right now we're just honing in on round 1. Kazatkina Sommes, actually, I'd like to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, because actually that was something that's as it happens, and first impressions I think are important. And actually, Kazatkina Sommes, when that came out of the draw, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." Because I was in. Those are the two of the players that I had circled. As not being seeded and as dangerous floaters. Is one of those going to come up against? I think in Kazatkina's case, I was very interested to see if Kazatkina for Coco Gauff, because I looked at their head-to-head, and I think it's 3-0 in Kazatkina's favor. There's certain matchups that are, Kazatkina's a dangerous floater, but then she plays Iga, and I'm like, I think Iga's winging that. I was just thinking matchup, and so I then had a quick look at Kazatkina Gauff head-to-head, and it was 3-0. I was like, oh, okay. Kazatkina for Coco in round 1 could be interesting. And then I was also looking at Zeynep Solness as being a dangerous floater and going, who for the big 4 players? Maybe Iga, maybe Coco again. Probably not Sabalenka or Rybakina, but one of Coco or Iga, I was thinking, maybe Zeynep Solness could pose a few problems. And then these 2 floaters end up meeting each other. So, yeah. What are your thoughts?
I think it should be interesting. I think you got Kasatkina coming in here with a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Just over the course of the last
Saved
2.5
a match point in our
weeks.
first round en route to the title in Catalonia recently.
Yeah, and played a very good match against Peyton Stearns. That was 2 days ago now, and then lost in 3 against Jackie Christian, who is a tough opponent, kind of no matter where you play her. But it worked out well in terms of came through qualies this past week, and played 5 total matches. Like that's perfect.
Exactly. In a way, you almost want to go out quarters or semis off. Like, so you can
get a few under your belt, get some confidence, and that's I think the biggest. That's just the biggest thing going into this matchup for her. Just going into anything is like the confidence seems to be back for Kasatkina, and that's very huge because then she starts playing freely, and you get to see her express herself on court, which is in all types of ways. But there's a lot of variety to her game, and I think Sonmez is a proper clash in that sense. Very good off the forehand wing, pretty solid off both wings, but we know the weapons there, and obviously both very good movers. So I think we're in for an interesting one, but I think Kasatkina coming in here with just a bit more confidence and swagger, it might help her out.
Yeah, and Sommes, of course, has been getting wins at slams recently over the last 12 months and tearing up the record books, particularly from a Turkish tennis perspective and rankings too. So yeah, there's some good form over the last 12 months for Zeynep. But I think Kazatkina's form even more impressive because actually she was kind of in a rough spot a couple of months ago. I think Kazatkina, her ranking had plummeted. This is someone who obviously was in the WTA finals not that long ago, a couple of years ago, and was a top 10 player and was a real pain in the proverbial for lots of players. I just shared that head-to-head once again with Coco on the screen, albeit they hadn't played for a couple of years. But anyway, I think because of what I saw in Catalonia and the form that she's shown also in Strasbourg, yeah, I think this could be a 3-set dogfight. And again, 3-set dogfights, Kazatkina, bring it on, is what she's thinking. That's my lunch and dinner all together, if you like, and also at a Grand Slam. So, yeah, I'm going to lean Kazatkina, and it might well go the distance as well.
Love it.
Okay, I've seen somebody in the chat say, give me some Noskova. Have we got you for 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes?
Yeah, we'll do one more, yeah?
Yeah, we'll do at least one more. Might get 2 in, we'll see.
All right,
Noskova Sakkari is what I've got, and that is an interesting first round for poor Maria. I mean, she's not seeded now, so I just remember Sakkari at the French Open of when she was in great form and blah, blah, blah. I think it was 2023. Yeah, it was 23. and she gets in the first round Karolina Muchova, and you're going, oh my goodness me, Maria, you're on the, you're in the best sort of 2 years of your career from 2020, 2021 to 2023. That was like her window, and you get Muchova in round one. And of course, it's terrible for Muchova too. Muchova prevails, gets to the final, and Sakkari's probably watching that journey going, that could have been me, but that's possibly the story of Maria's career. Anyway, Sakkari has drawn Noskova, which is horrendous from her perspective, right?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, I think Sakkari has shown spells kind of at random times and over the past
this year from nowhere. I just didn't see that coming,
Yeah, maybe the past 18 months, just random spells. Obviously, things have gone in the south direction, and for Noskova, it's continuing to prove herself on tour, trying to get herself to that upper echelon of the WTA. And this clay season was a solid one. I think she only went out to players who were kind of either going to go deep in a tournament or, deserve the win. So I think for her coming into the French, I think she should be, feeling good about herself and good about her game. It's just going to be, holding up in the kind of movement department and staying, pretty level in terms of the mental side, because I think that Sakkari can show that fight. Obviously, it's been a tough go. That loss from Stearns is a bit concerning, but who knows? Like with the crowd, getting yourself popped up, new environment, higher stakes. That's the type of thing that could bring out a special performance for Sakkari. So I'm not going to rule that out.
I'm not going to rule it out. I also think from Noskova's perspective, you're going, I don't want Sakkari in round one.
Yeah.
You're a fairly highly ranked seed, and so you're thinking, and you get that, and you're like, oh, dearie me. I mean, I think Noskova prevails, but it could be 3 sets. And, say if you're in Noskova's position, I'm not sure exactly where she's seeded or where she's ranked, but she's probably very close to the top 10. And so, yeah, Sakkari is a huge floater that you would want to avoid, possibly even more than for example, the aforementioned Zeynep Sonmez. So, yeah, I am leaning. Linda, let me just have a quick look. Where were these two matches and when were they? Did Linda win the most recent one? That'll be significant to some extent, I think. No, Sakkari won the most recent one, but it was in Australia last year in Adelaide. They've not played on the clay before, and so we've had one win each. Yeah, Sakkari winning the most recent one. But Noskova, I think, is getting better and better. I don't think Sakkari is. So
Correct.
I'm just going to lean Linda. What about you?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I definitely want to find who's Leylah Fernandez playing.
Oh, I saw it and it was like, here it is. Oh, Alicia Parks. The reason I say that is just because, look, Alicia's like continue to get better, and definitely enjoys her indoor conditions. So that's the only reason why I'm like, I should default to a Fernandez win. And
I mean, Fernandez is in pretty good form. It'd been rough for about 6 months. I think 2-0 is the head-to-head, or I'm not actually. I haven't got it yet. I need to find the head-to-head between Fernandez and Parks. But yeah, on clay, you've got to lean. You got to lean Leylah, right?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, Mboko and Fernandez are going to play today in the quarterfinal, so that's something that it's kind of interesting to just keep an eye out on. Obviously, I think Fernandez has good fitness regardless, but she's always another player who just has her legs strapped a lot. So,
Actually, maybe someone let me know in the live chat. I can't find the head-to-head between Alicia.
I wouldn't be surprised if they hadn't played.
And Leylah Fernandez. They might not have played before. But somebody please, can you have a look for me very quickly? I've got Google up, but I can't find their head-to-head anyway. Normally, I find the women's fine in these
1-1.
1-1, is it?
Yeah, let's see. It was in Miami.
And that went the way of
Fernandez.
Okay. When was that? Yeah, I'm getting it up. 1-1.
2025.
Okay, last year. And then they played on the hard courts in Australia, and that went the way of Alicia Parks in 2024.
Yep.
Yeah. So not played on clay. I'm going to go for Leylah in 2 tight-ish sets.
Yeah. Maybe down a break, retrieves it.
Yeah. I love the specificity. Can we get one more women's match in? I just don't know which one.
Let's see if we can find a popcorn.
Yeah. Let's women's French Open draw. Let me just try and find it. French Open draw. There's got to be one more.
Paulina Yastremska is going to be interesting, I think.
All right. Tell me what you think.
I think just kind of a scrappy battle between, players who are kind of in different scenarios, if that makes sense, where Paulini obviously has the higher ranking, of course, and maybe more ability, but I think she's almost had that peak, and now it's others that are.
Feels like that, doesn't it? 6-1 is the head-to-head for Jasmine.
Which is not surprising.
Yeah. I mean, Yastremska can beat herself, can't she?
Exactly.
Might be helpful for Jasmine at times because she needs probably someone to beat themselves to get the wins at the moment because Jasmine's form is wretched at the moment.
But I will say the reason why I picked this match is just because kind of Yastremska over the last week, and she might have gotten robbed of other opportunities this clay season, just tough, close losses in both Madrid and Rome. So that's why I highlight this, because I think Yastremska is coming in here with a little bit more confidence.
Did she win the Parma? Was that this year, Parma? She win. I'm just looking at a running she had in Parma recently, Yastremska.
Yeah. That was last week.
Yeah, beating Barbora Krejcikova, of course, a former French Open winner.
Exactly.
So, yeah, tough loss to Zakharova in Rome, and an equally tough loss to Sierra, one of your favourites for sure.
Yeah,
really two mega tight ones. I mean, 8-6 in the tiebreak in Rome, and then 10-8 in a second set tiebreak, or 12-10 as well. Look at this for a crazy scoreline. You were probably familiar with this, and we're thinking of it as you were talking about Yastremska.
Yeah.
Paulini is struggling, as is mentioned in the chat. And yet, I think I might go Paulini. She's former French Open finalist. Her form is wretched, but 6-1, the head-to-head. Maybe Yastremska's just the ideal opponent for her right now. She's scratching for wins, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
Are you going to go Yastremska, or are you going to go Paulini?
I'm leaning Yastremska. I mean, like, but yeah.
Tough one to call.
It is.
Is there anything else? Who's Emma Raducanu playing?
Solana Sierra.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Give me a minute on that, please, because I know you rate Sierra highly, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's as much about Sierra just because of where Raducanu is at.
Sure.
Got one match under her belt. Played Diana Perry, who can trouble at times, but obviously I think she just needed to play one lead up a tournament, and unfortunately it just means one match. But on the flip side, Sierra, who had kind of her first consistent results on tour this clay season, winning a few matches in Madrid, winning a few matches in Rome, and was in Parma last week as well, where she was avenged by Yastremska. So for her, I think, and then she did a small training block at the Rafa Nadal Academy, and now she's made her way to Paris. So I think just from a preparation perspective and confidence, form, all signs point to Sierra.
Yeah, I agree. I just remember watching that match with Coco that she had recently, and probably should have won. Coco gets to the final in the end. She's up 3-love in the second set, but that's with a double break. She then loses 5 games in a row, but breaks Coco when Coco's serving for it. It wasn't a super high quality encounter, but it was fun. It was an early morning by tennis stands. I think it was one of the first matches, if not the first match on a Saturday morning in Rome. And the way the second set, and I had a feeling that Sierra had just about maxed things out in the first set. And then when Goff gets the early break in the second, I actually thought that was the match. I thought that was it. But Solana had different ideas when it came to the third set in particular, as she races into that 3-love double break lead. And then I thought that was it again. For the second time, I thought Sierra had been beaten when she's down 5-3 and Coco's serving for it. But I also finally got one of my predictions right in that match. When she breaks back for 5-4, I thought Coco's going to break to win this now. And that's exactly what happened. So Sierra's serving at 4-5. But it was still a fun match. And those matches in Rome in particular, and where Emma was at too, do suggest for me that Solana is the favourite, maybe in straight sets, sort of Diane Parry-esque as well.
Yeah, I think, just from a form perspective, and I don't know kind of where Raducanu's at mentally. switching coaches, dealing with the illness, trying to show up for the people here. But once again,
Listen,
it could be a little bit of.
If you're Emma, from Emma's perspective, at least if you are coming back and feeling your way back into the WTA Tour, let's do it towards the end of the clay court season. I was just thinking, if this was Wimbledon, for example, that I would probably favour Emma and it would be great for her. But I'd also be thinking, has Wimbledon come just too early for her? Whereas now she can get a healthy block of matches on the grass and go hopefully into Wimbledon in fine fettle. Hopefully, she's obviously been off the tour with this illness, for this virus that she's had. But anyway, in terms of this match, I think we're both going for Sierra, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining me, Brenna.
Beautiful. This worked out well. Thanks, John.
No, brilliant. Wonderful to have you on board. And make sure you give Brenna a follow on X at Simon Says Tennis. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah. Where he'll be ready for a battle. What are my other ones? I've got your little expressions, Brenna. Brenna scoreboard pressure. Yeah. Took care of business. And it's not on there, but I love it when you say that was a battle or that's going to be a battle, etc. Yeah. We've got obviously Vanchoff both wings. Jamie keeping you honest. Do you know what keeping you honest means?
I mean, I feel like I do, but I would maybe need to express it.
I'll give you the example. If, for example, you're down a break in the deciding set, but you keep holding. Keep your opponent, make them work. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you just sort of keep up the pressure, if you like. That's not keeping you honest. Yeah, so that's that. All right, I've got target 30K subscribers, but I should delete that now because, of course, we have breached that benchmark. And we'll be, of course, with you again very soon. Going to have ATP Weekly a little bit earlier. Yeah, indeed, Damien, it doesn't matter. That was when I think Dan Evans took a set off Carlos Alcaraz at
US Open.
And he's like, it doesn't matter. It's just irrelevant. and Alcaraz won in 4 sets, of course. Yeah. It was a fun match, by the way. But yeah, Dan Evans, bless him. Fingers crossed we can get a few more wins out of him before his career comes to a close. Anyway, yeah, big thanks for joining me, Brenna.
Thanks for having me, John.
And yeah, as I said, ATP Weekly, I think might be slated for tomorrow. So it'll be obviously a bit earlier than normal because of the slam nature. We've also got WTA Weekly on Saturday with Nick. And to everybody else, If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.